The desert had a way of hiding secrets. For thousands of years, the Sahara had swallowed armies, explorers, and entire civilizations. Its endless waves of sand could erase footprints within minutes. Its heat could break the strongest soldiers. Its silence could make a person feel like they were the last human alive. But on one particular night, beneath a sky filled with endless stars, one man was about to become the desert's newest ghost. His name was Captain Ethan Cole. A former reconnaissance specialist with years of experience operating behind enemy lines, Ethan had survived missions most soldiers never heard about. He was trained to disappear, observe, and return with information that could change the outcome of battles. But this mission was different. This time, he wasn't there to gather intelligence. He was there because someone needed to know what was hidden inside a fortress buried deep in the Sahara. A fortress that wasn't supposed to exist. Chapter 1: The Ghost Mission. 3 days earlier, Ethan received his orders. Satellite images had revealed unusual activity in a remote region of the Sahara. An abandoned mining facility had been transformed into a heavily protected compound. The structure was surrounded by reinforced walls, watchtowers, underground tunnels, and armed patrols. Nobody knew who controlled it. Nobody knew what was inside. But intelligence reports suggested something dangerous was being prepared there. Ethan's mission was simple. Enter. Observe. Collect evidence. Leave. No confrontation. No heroics. No mistakes. His commanding officer looked at him before the mission. Ethan, this is a reconnaissance operation. You are not a one-man army. Ethan nodded. I know. You go in quietly. You come out quietly. Ethan gave a small smile. That's usually when things go wrong. His commander didn't laugh. Because they both knew he was right. Chapter 2: Into the Sahara. Ethan moved through the desert alone. No vehicles. No support team. Just a small pack, survival equipment, and his years of training. The sun disappeared behind the horizon, and the temperature dropped rapidly. The Sahara was a place of extremes. Burning days. Freezing nights. Ethan reached the edge of the fortress after midnight. From a distance, it looked impossible to enter. The outer walls were nearly impossible to climb. Motion sensors covered the perimeter. Guards walked predictable patrol routes. Cameras scanned every corner. But Ethan noticed something. Security systems were designed by humans. And humans made mistakes. For hours, he watched. He studied the patterns. Every guard rotation. Every blind spot. Every moment when cameras turned away. At 3:17 a.m., Ethan moved. Like a shadow, he crossed the open sand. He reached the wall. Climbed. Dropped silently inside. The fortress never knew he was there. Chapter 3: The Secret Beneath the Fortress. Inside the compound, Ethan discovered something unexpected. The fortress wasn't just a military base. It was a command center. Deep underground were massive rooms filled with equipment, documents, and technology. Ethan connected a small device to the main computer system. Files began downloading. Then he saw something that made him freeze. The fortress wasn't preparing for defense. It was preparing for an attack. A large-scale operation was scheduled within days. Ethan knew he had to leave immediately. He packed the evidence. Then everything changed. A warning alarm flashed. System breach detected. Ethan looked at the screen. Someone had discovered him. Chapter 4: The Fortress Awakens. The quiet fortress suddenly became alive. Lights turned on. Footsteps echoed through the halls. Security teams rushed into position. Ethan moved quickly. He knew fighting his way out was impossible. There were too many enemies. Too many cameras. Too many weapons. He needed another way. He escaped through a maintenance tunnel beneath the facility. The tunnel was narrow and dark. Behind him, voices grew closer. Search every corridor. He cannot leave the compound. Ethan moved deeper underground. The tunnel eventually opened into an old underground water system. But there was a problem. The exit was sealed. A massive metal door blocked the way. Ethan examined it. No tools. No explosives. No time. Then he noticed something. The water pressure behind the door was building. The ancient system was damaged. The desert had destroyed parts of the structure. Ethan made a risky decision. He opened the emergency valve. Water exploded through the tunnel. The force shattered the damaged door. But the flood threw Ethan against the wall. For a moment, everything went black. Chapter 5: The Escape begins. Ethan woke up outside the fortress. But he wasn't safe. The alarm was still active. Search teams were spreading across the desert. And Ethan was injured. His equipment was damaged. His communication device was gone. The nearest friendly location was over 60 kilometers away. In the Sahara. With no vehicle. No water supply. And enemies hunting him. Most people would have given up. Ethan didn't. Because survival wasn't about being the strongest. It was about refusing to stop. Chapter 6: The desert becomes his ally. Ethan knew the enemy would track him using footprints. So he changed his approach. He moved across rocky ground. Used wind patterns to cover his trail. Traveled during cooler nighttime hours. During the day, he hid beneath natural rock formations. The desert that had once been his enemy became his protection. But the biggest challenge was water. His supply was running low. His body was weakening. On the third day, Ethan collapsed. For the first time in years, he wondered if this was where his story ended. Then he remembered something his old survival instructor told him. The desert doesn't kill people. The desert reveals people. Ethan forced himself to stand. One more step. Then another. Chapter 7: The Final Pursuit. The enemy found him on the 5th day. A patrol vehicle appeared on the horizon. Ethan had nowhere to run. No cover. No escape route. The desert stretched endlessly around him. But Ethan noticed something. A massive sandstorm was approaching. The same storm that would make it impossible for the enemy to track him. He waited. The storm arrived. The world disappeared into a wall of sand. Visibility dropped to almost nothing. Ethan moved. The enemy searched. But the desert swallowed him. Again. Chapter 8: Home. After days of survival, Ethan finally reached the extraction point. Barely standing. Covered in dust. Exhausted. But alive. A rescue aircraft arrived. As he stepped inside, the pilot looked at him. "Captain, we thought you were gone." Ethan looked back at the endless desert. "No." He paused. "The desert just wanted to test me." The evidence he recovered changed everything. The hidden fortress was exposed. The planned operation was stopped. And Ethan Cole became known as the soldier who escaped a fortress that was considered impossible to escape. But Ethan never called himself a hero. Years later, when asked how he survived alone in the Sahara, he gave the same answer. "I didn't beat the desert. I listened to it. And it let me leave."